Gamer here, and it's been way too long since I have made a showcase video, so might as well make one right now. And what a perfect time to make a showcase video, because Hu Tao is still currently out, and by the time this video is uploaded, I'm pretty sure Hu Tao will still be out anyway. So yeah, well, it is time to make a showcase video, and let's start off by showcasing Hu Tao. Which is what I promised on the last video. So, I am giving you what you guys want. Well, anyways, before we start off this Hu Tao showcase video, I'm going to be going over some ground rules since it's been way too long since I've done a showcase video. And newer viewers of the channel will probably not understand how I structure these showcase videos. So, might as well set up the ground rules right now just to clear up any confusion. So, first off, what I always do first is always showcase my Hu Tao build, or in this case, any character's build in general. It's just to give you a broader scope on what you should build your character as. In this case, I'm going to be using Hu Tao since I am going to be showcasing Hu Tao. Yeah, the first section of the video is just me showcasing my build, my talents, my weapons, my artifacts, just to give you a broader insight onto what my Hu Tao is. Basically, just use it as a general guide or follow it loosely as you head into the video. It's just so that you could basically have your own insights and inferences and other thoughts once you dive into the meat of this showcase video. So yeah, that's the only reason why I showcase my builds. It's just to give insight and to basically showcase what a Hu Tao build should be. So yeah, that's basically it for the first section. The second section is just me testing her out on her best teams on Spiral Abyss. So yeah, spoiler alert, but I am going to be using the Hu Tao Double Geo Team. We'll just use that team as an example. Yeah, we're just going to be showcasing that team. We're going to be showcasing other Hu Tao teams that are commonly used in Spiral Abyss. That's the whole reason of the second section. It's to showcase how Hu Tao could basically be run on any team ever, and basically give you some insight on how the team functions, basically. And, of course, the gameplay to showcase how the team should be played. And then third, I'm going to be showcasing her in boss battles. This is not as important as Spiral Abyss, but in boss battles, I do showcase how a character is performing in boss battles, since boss battles are basically second to Spiral Abyss, basically, on difficulty. So yeah, of course, I'm going to be showcasing boss battles and showcasing her on a variety of teams as well in the third section. In the fourth section, I'm going to be showcasing her max damage. Yes, her max damage possible. So yeah, you're just going to be seeing big numbers. You're going to see how my Hu Tao could basically deal as much damage as possible, and also give you some tips and information on how to make your damage as maximum as possible. So yeah, and lastly, but certainly not least, I'm going to be giving over my overview and final thoughts. So basically discussing her attacks, her talents, her constellations in greater detail, and then just giving off my final thoughts. So yeah, that is basically how a showcase video is structured on this channel. So, without any further ado, let's just start the Hu Tao showcase video, and let's start it off with my Hu Tao build. So here we are in the Hu Tao info screen. So, yep, it is time to showcase what my Hu Tao is and what my build is on her. So, without any further ado, let's just go. So, of course, we're just going to be going over the stats here. As you can see, she has pretty high HP. There is a reason for that. It's because she scales off of HP. So you need to stack as much HP as possible on her if you want her to do maximum damage. But also, do not forget about crit rate damage. This is also pretty important too, since you want her to be hitting hard. You want her to hit hard and hit fast. And also have a lot of HP so she doesn't die. But, yeah. So, the main stats that you want to focus on, mostly, is HP, crit rate, crit damage. That is the main stats you want to focus on. As for some other stats, Elemental Mastery is pretty good too, since you'll be doing more elemental reaction damage. But as you can see here, my Elemental Mastery is at 0. Yeah, but she still can output a ton of damage without Elemental Mastery because she's just that good. She's just way too good. So yeah, again, main takeaway, HP, crit rate, crit damage. But yeah, but for my Hu Tao build, crit rate, crit damage is pretty high. I basically fully invested in her and still optimizing her kit to this very day. So yeah, this is what I could get up to. I see a lot of people get to 300% crit damage. That is insane. But with the enough balancing that I did, this is what I basically came up with. 37,000 HP, 61.8% crit rate, and 234.6% crit damage. So yeah. From the pyro damage here, it's basically from artifact sets, basically from your typical cup, and as well as an artifact set that I gave her, which is Crimson Witch of Flames. So yeah, that's the artifact set I gave her. But anyways, onto the weapon. So her weapon is Staff of Homa, which is basically the best pole arm in the entire game, no questions asked. It's also the best pole arm on Hu Tao, obviously, since it is her main weapon. But yeah, Staff of Homa is basically her go-to weapon. There is no other weapon you would ever run besides this weapon, because this weapon is super duper broken. Yeah, it is just that good. And what does it do? Well, you probably already read the effect while I was ranting, but well, here you go. So you get a 20% HP increase, which is pretty good since Hu Tao scales off of HP. You get a attack bonus of 0.8% depending on the wielder's max HP. So yeah, that is the reason why you want to stack up a bunch of HP. It's so that you can get more attack bonuses for this weapon, which is pretty nice. And if your HP is under 50, which basically works well with Hu Tao's entire build, your attack bonus gets increased by an additional 1% of your max HP. So basically, you get 1.8% attack based off your max HP once you're under 50. And since Hu Tao is always under 50, no matter what, since you probably are going to get hit, and her elemental skill drains your HP pretty fast. So yeah, all you need is like 2 pops of her E and you basically are under 50. You get 1.8% attack for each point of HP. So yeah, well, with a HP of 37,000, you could probably see how much damage she will possibly do. So yeah, that's the reason why you would run the Staff of Homa. It is just that good. So good. The secondary weapon that you could probably run, I am going to be talking about this since people don't have Staff of Homa. So, of course, in these showcase videos, I am going to be talking about which free-to-play weapon is the best too, not just Staff of Homa or any other 5-star weapon, just so that the showcase video can basically become full. You know, it's for free-to-play players and pay-to-play players, and also standard players who just buy the Welcome Pass and whatnot. So yeah. So, what is her best free-to-play weapon? It is either the White Tassel, which is I think is a 4-star weapon? Or is it a 3-star weapon? I think it's a 3-star weapon, yeah. The White Tassel is a 3-star weapon that basically increases your normal attack damage. So yeah, that's pretty good. But also her secondary weapon, which is another free-to-play weapon, is the Dragon's Bane, which is pretty good on Hu Tao if you ever run her as a free-to-play. Because you basically get an increased damage of 36% on R5. You should probably already have this R5 by now, since this is a pretty common weapon that you pull. I mean, look at this. I have like a bajillion R5 Dragon's Banes. But regardless, you get a 36% pyro damage bonus against opponents affected by pyro. And since Hu Tao's charge attacks leave a blossom behind the opponent, this will always proc, meaning that she'll do basically big damage. Also, it's an elemental mastery weapon, meaning that your elemental reactions will basically deal more damage. So yeah, that's pretty good. But in the end, Staff of Homa is probably the better weapon, so if you do have some spare primos, and if you did pull Hu Tao, this is a definite must pull on a weapon. This is extremely good. And even if you don't have Hu Tao, this works well on Zhongli. And you already know how good Zhongli is. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Crimson Witch of Flames. So yeah, this is basically the standard Hu Tao set that everyone runs. Crimson Witch of Flames. There's no other set you would probably run besides this set, since this set basically benefits her over time. So you basically get a 15% pyro damage bonus, which is pretty nice. Also, any other pyro reaction, like Overload, Burning, and Bergen, deal 40% more damage, which is pretty nice. And also, you get an increased Vaporize and Melt damage by 15% when you use your elemental skill. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And when you use your elemental skill, you get a 2-piece set bonus of 50% of its starting value, which is pretty nice. Yeah, which means that you get more pyro damage. You also get a max of 3 stacks. So yeah, too bad Hu Tao only gets 1. She only gets 1, by the way, because her elemental skill has a 10-second cooldown. It sucks. But it's still the best artifact set on her regardless. It's just because of this first part of the 4-piece set. Dealing 15% Vaporize and Melt and 40% Overload, Burning, and Bergen damage is just way too good. Yeah, this set is just extremely good. The best set on Hu Tao for sure. But if you want to run another artifact set, you could possibly run Shiminawa's Remnants. I think that's what it's called. Where you basically, when you cast an elemental skill, and if you have 15 or more energy on you, you lose 15 energy, but your normal charge and plunging attack damage will be increased by 50% for 10 seconds, which is pretty nice since Hu Tao's gameplay is all about the charge attacks. And especially at C0, it's a pretty good artifact set since you will be doing normal attacks too, which is pretty nice. So it depends on what your preference is. You want to use Shiminawa's, or you could use Crimson Witch. Either way, these artifact sets are good, but in my Hu Tao build, I ran 4-piece Witch because it is pretty nice. As for constellations, I have her at C1. That is all you need, by the way. There is no other constellation that you could possibly get on Hu Tao unless you really love the character and want to C6 her. You don't have to, because C1 is all you need. It's just way too good. So, for her C1, you basically get rid of the stamina cost on your charge attacks, meaning that you don't consume stamina when you charge attack. This means that you could spam it. Yeah, this literally changes how you play Hu Tao. At C0, you do a couple charge attacks, and you do normals. Or, you do charge attacks and don't dash, which cancels your charge attack animation. But with this, you could charge attack, dash to cancel out the charge attack animation, rinse and repeat until the enemy dies. Yeah, it is just that good. It is an extremely good constellation. Definitely a worthy pickup. And this constellation basically makes Hu Tao the best pyro DPS in the game. No questions asked. If she's at C0, she is not the best pyro DPS in the entire game, because she has competition like Linny and Yoimiya. But at C1, there is no contest on who the best pyro DPS is. It is obviously Hu Tao. This constellation just makes her a monster, a beast. Extremely good. She is way too good at C1. And as for talents, 10-10-10. I use her way too much, so obviously I want to triple crown her. She is just way too good. I love her gameplay, which is why I triple crowned her. Pretty, well, dedicated Hu Tao player over here. But, yeah. So, these are my talents. Obviously, Guide of Afterlife is basically her bread and butter. Her Spirit Soother is pretty good too. These passive talents are pretty good as well. So yeah, well, there is your talent overview. I will be going into greater detail in the overview and final thoughts section of this showcase video. But as of now, this is basically my build. As you can see there, that is what my Hu Tao is. So, well, since we did finish the build, it is time to take her to Spiral Abyss and showcase her best teams. So, without any further ado, let's just hop into Spiral Abyss and, well, showcase her teams. Alright, so here we are in floor 12, chamber 1. There is no damage bonus here on floor 12, obviously, since people want a challenge. And Hoyoverse just wants people to suffer in floor 12, so yeah. Well, usually in these showcase videos, I never ever pick a buff that basically benefits the character, just because I want to showcase them raw. So yeah. Well, because of that, I am gonna be choosing this. This is basically the least detrimental, because this increases skill damage, which we don't want. This basically instantly restores 30 HP, which is pretty bad for Hu Tao since we don't want her to heal. And this is probably the only buff that we could probably get. Sadly, we can't pick no buffs. We were forced to pick a buff anyway. So yeah. Well, anyways, I'm just going to be picking this for the meantime. So first off, I'm going to be showcasing the Hu Tao Double Hydro team. This is the most commonly used Hu Tao team in the entire game. So yeah, it's only right for me to showcase this first. So, how this team works is, you put down the shield on Zhongli, since Zhongli uses Tenacity. You put down both of their bursts right here, and then you let Hu Tao do all the work with their elemental skill, and look at that damage. Already, we've done so much damage. We're just going to be avoiding that right there, so we don't be affected by Cryo. We're going to try to get our burst back right here. We take no damage since we have the Zhongli shield. Alright, we're going to be reapplying all their bursts right here. Let's grab these. Let's reapply the Zhongli shield since it's going to be running out. And then let's use Hu Tao and finish this off. Yeah, as you can see here, she does way too much damage. And she's not even at under 50, by the way. She's not under 50 and she does that much damage. Yeah. As you can see, Hu Tao is just way too good. She is way too good. But yeah, even without her being under 50% HP, as you can see there, she does way too much damage. Well, yeah, it's probably because of the artifact set I gave her, which is a 4-piece Crimson. But yeah, still extremely good PYRO DPS. Well, anyways, that is the first team I'm going to be showcasing. Now it's time to hop on to the next team. Alright, here we are with the next team I'm going to be showcasing, which is Hu Tao Double Geo. Yes, this is not as commonly used as Hu Tao Double Hydro, but it's still probably one of Hu Tao's better teams, just because of how much damage it does. Again, all of these are just based around damage. So, with the setup here, it's basically similar to the Double Hydro team. You just set up your field stuff, then you let Hu Tao go into town, and you basically deal a big amount of damage. So yeah, with the Geo Resonance, it is extremely good on this team. I forgot to mention that the Hydro Resonance is pretty good as well on the Hu Tao Double Hydro team, just because of how the Hydro Resonance works. But yeah, the only reason why I'm using Albedo, you could use any other Geo character, but Albedo works the best on Hu Tao Double Geo. It's because I just want to dust them off, since there's no reason for me to use Albedo anyway in these Spiral Abysses. So yeah. I should be under 50% HP, so this is probably going to do a big amount of damage right here. Yeah, there we go. 122,000. Yeah, really, really busted. Yeah, Hu Tao's just so good. No matter what team you put her on, she's just way too good. Way too good. Alright, so there is the second team I showcased. Now here's the last commonly used team before we head on to boss fights. So, well, let's just transition to the third team. Now here is the last team that I'm going to be showcasing before I go to boss fights, and this is the Hu Tao Melt team. This is not as good as Double Hydro or Double Geo, but it still gets the job done regardless, and I'm going to show you. I'm also, of course, dusting off Kaya, since Kaya is a pretty cool guy. But yeah, I don't see anyone use Kaya in Spiral Abyss, so might as well dust them off right here. But yeah, as you can see here, Melt, it does a lot of damage. But yeah, I think he's on his second phase, yep. We can tank this with Zhongli's shield. Yep, there we go. We're gonna be trying to get Kaya's elemental burst back right here. But I don't think we will, since Kaya doesn't have a lot of particles to work with. So I think we do have to deal a lot of damage. Alright, we're gonna be getting Hu Tao to around low HP. This should be half HP right here. We're gonna be weakening him for a bit while we get everyone's bursts ready. Let's reapply the Zhongli shield. This should be the burst right here. There we go. Let's use Zhongli burst. And then let's use Hu Tao burst. And then I think this... Yeah, there we go. Completed. She didn't crit on the burst, which is pretty sad, but I still showcased her regardless. But yeah, there we go. That is Hu Tao Melt. Still a pretty good team, but not as good as Double Hydro or Double Geo. Well, anyways, now it's time to fight some bosses. So here we go. So first off, I'm just gonna be fighting only 2, since that is what my showcase video structures. We only fight 2 bosses and then we just go to the damage showcase afterwards. So yeah. Well, first off, I'm gonna be fighting the wolf boss. So let's just transition to the wolf boss. Well, never mind. Change of plans. So, well, I did accidentally mess up on the Andreas, which is the wolf boss fight, and now I have to wait 15 minutes for it to respawn. So yeah, well, I'm gonna be showcasing another 2 sets of bosses instead. So first, I'm just gonna be showcasing off Raiden. Well, mistakes do happen, so I hope you guys can forgive me on that. I'm sorry that you probably want to see Hu Tao nuke down a wolf, but sadly I can't do that because it's locked for 15 minutes. Want me to prove it? Yeah, there you go. Well, I can at least showcase her on other bosses. So, first off is Raiden. Raiden is a pretty common boss that you can test damage on. So yeah, might as well test her out here. So, well, anyways, here we go. So this is the team I'm going to be running here, which is a really weird Bergen team. Yeah, which is just consists of Zhongli, Nahida, Yelan, and Hu Tao. I'm just going to be moving him here since I use Zhongli a lot on slot 2. So yeah, well, anyways, let's get this started. Let's showcase how Hu Tao is broken. Anyways, first off, she doesn't do anything, by the way. You can just literally stand here and do nothing until you move. So, well, it's time to prep up. Let's switch. And there we go. Alright, so now do this. And let's just deal as much damage to her as possible. I think I can break her shield here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Alright, that ran out. We can reapply his shield. Oh, I missed the Nahida. Alright, so this is the phase where she does the clones. Okay, so this is the real one. So yeah, you can tell who the real Raiden is if she has double slashes. A single slash is not the real Raiden. So yeah. Well, anyways, we're gonna be causing some Bergen reactions here. Let's use a burst here so we can just heal ourselves. 100k! Dang! That is extremely good. And that's without Nahida's burst up, by the way. Which basically increases elemental damage. We're gonna be using a ton of pyro here on her shield so we can basically take it down as much as possible. Oh, this is gonna do big damage. Yeah, we'll use the burst for invincibility right here. Alright. We took that like a champ. I think she's gonna go into her slash phase. Yeah, there we go. So let's just use Nahida to get that up. There we go. This will do 0 damage. Alright, she should be on her final phase, which is she just sends in 3 electro pillars down. Unless, well, I destroy her shield right now, which does nothing. Okay. Let's tag her. Let's tag this. Burst! Bam! And there we go. beat up Raiden Shogun with a really awkward Bergen team. So yeah, as you can see there, the Hu Tao team is pretty nice. Can get the job done, obviously, as you can see there. Hu Tao is just way too good, does way too much damage, benefits from her teammates a lot, and when she's off field, she gives crit rate to everyone. So that is pretty cool. So yeah, well, there is Raiden down. It's time to showcase the next enemy on our list, which is actually going to be the Wanderer. So yeah, well, let's just hop into the Wanderer domain. So here we are with the Wanderer, aka Scaramouche domain. So, the reason why, I forgot to explain, the reason why I am using Raiden and Wanderer is because they have phases where they're vulnerable, and you can do whatever you want. So yeah, for Wanderer, it's his second phase, where you just have to take down his shield, and then deal as much damage as you can. So yeah, well, anyways, let's just get this started. So we're gonna be going in here. And we're just going to be going with this team. Yeah, we're going to be sticking with the same team again, since I have not showcased Bergen anyway. And plus, Burning is also tied on this team too, since we have Nahida and Hu Tao, who could cause that elemental reaction. Anyways, let's just get this started. I'm going to be putting up Zhongli first, since we do need the shield. Alright. Let's go. Alright. Skill. Let's tag him right there, and then let's just let Hu Tao go into town. I will probably I'll probably use the boss's mechanics against him. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Alright, so let's just collect these. Alright, we're gonna be preparing for his next attack. I hope it's gonna be Electro. It is Electro. So, there we go. We stun him right there. And then we stun him right here. There we go. And now he is vulnerable. So, let's use this. And then let's just use Nahida to finish it off. There's no need to use Hu Tao in that situation, since she's already at low HP. We're skipping the cutscene. Alright, here is the second phase of the fight. Obviously, I'm going to be tagging him. Alright, let's grab that. I think he's going to send out his bombs. Yeah, that's his bombs. Just use your elemental reactions to gain these, and then just attack right here. There we go. We could take that because of Zhongli's shield, thankfully. Alright. That is basically half of his health gone. And let's just avoid these. I'm pretty sure he's going to be spawning one of those crystals eventually. After this attack, probably. Oh yeah, there we go. Alright. Let's just aim this at him right there. Alright, he should be almost done. I could just let the bot finish it off. Alright. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now it's time for this phase. So, in this phase, you have to destroy the Electro things as fast as possible. But luckily, we have a character for that, which is Nahida. Nahida charge attacks home in on targets, so you can just do that. Normal attacks also work too. As you can see here, you can just normal attack until this thing is down. Let's use the elemental skill. Burst right here, and then let's just aim this at him. And we get a refill on our elemental burst, which is pretty nice. So, let's just get up to him right here. Alright, first off, shield, Nahida burst, Yelan burst, elemental skill, and then charge attacks. 62k! Alright, this should finish him off right here. Bam! Again, her burst always missed a crit. I don't know why. That was 52k without crit. Still pretty nice damage, but yeah. Well, there you go. There is Hu Tao. As you can see, she basically obliterated Scaramouche. Yep. That is Hu Tao for you, the best Pyro DPS in the entire game at C1. Well, anyways, now it's time to go over the damage showcase. So I'm just going to be showcasing her in her max possible damage and to get her max possible damage. So the boss I'm going to be testing this on is the Cryo Regisvine. Yep. One of the easiest bosses to ever damage test on. So without any further ado, let's just go to the Cryo Regisvine and showcase Hu Tao's max damage. Alright, so here we are in the Cryo Regisvine, well, area. So we have a team for this max damage showcase, which is going to be Hu Tao, Mona, Kaidehara Kazuha, and Bennett. And I'm going to be explaining all of them right now. So Hu Tao is obviously the main damage dealer. She's just here to deal her big damage. We're going to be using her elemental skill, which is one of her talents. And then use her elemental burst, and that is basically going to be it for her. That's all she needs to do to deal the damage. Here we have Mona, which is our second character on this team. Mona basically is here for elemental burst. It's at level 6, so this is probably not going to be the best max damage showcase possible. But you'll still deal, or I think Hu Tao will still deal a ton of damage. But her elemental burst basically allows the opponent to basically get hit by the sigil, and then once Hu Tao hits the sigil, she's going to be dealing more damage. So yeah, that is pretty cool. The reason why we have Mona here is so we can increase Hu Tao's damage. And plus Vaporize is extremely good anyway too. We have Kaidehara Kazuha, who is here because he has 4-piece Viridescent, which basically decreases the elemental res of the element that the skill is used on. So for this case, we're going to be using Bennett E into Kazuha E. And once he has Kazuha E up, this procs, where basically when he causes a swirl reaction, you basically get 0.04 elemental damage bonus when on the swirl, and you basically get 0.04% elemental damage bonus for every elemental mastery he has. And he has 320, so that's a pretty high number. And then lastly, we got our boy Bennett. You already know how good Bennett is. I gave him the best possible 5-star weapon that I could probably find, which is the Skyward Blade with a high base attack of 608. We have his Fantastic Voyage at level 11, which is pretty nice. This is probably going to be your average level on his Elemental Burst, meaning that he's going to be giving out big attack buffs. His Noblesse Oblige is also pretty good too, since he's going to be increasing all party members' attack by 20%. So yeah, he is here for the support. And we have Hu Tao at extremely low HP, so that she could pull this off without being healed above 50. So yeah, well, as you can see with the arrows right here, surrounding Hu Tao, she is under 50, meaning that her buff is activated, which means that we could probably get this started. Or we should get this started. So, let's prep this up, and let's go. So, here we go. Here is the main strat of this. So, we're going to be taking down its core first, obviously, because if we don't take down its core, then what are we supposed to do? Alright, we're going to do that. Here, Burst. Elemental skill, normal attack on Mona. Burst. Kablam! 329,000 damage with no food buffs. That is a big number right there. Holy crap. Yeah, there you go. There is Hu Tao's max damage output that I could possibly give out on a normal team. So yeah. I did forget to mention, by the way, that Hu Tao is also under the influence of her elemental resonance, which is Fervent of Flames, which basically increases her attack by 25%. I forgot to mention that when I did the damage showcase, but at least I mentioned it now, so now you know. This is probably going to be Hu Tao's best damage output for a while, at least until there's other characters out there possible that could basically help Hu Tao deal big damage. But yeah, there you go. There is Hu Tao's max damage. Pretty nice. 320,000 damage. That is insane. Well, anyways, it's time to close up the video and give my final thoughts and opinions on Hu Tao, and as well as give a big overview. So here is Hu Tao, the director of the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. So, without any further ado, let's just go over the overview of her. So, let's start off with her talents. So, her talents. Her normal attack, which is Secret Spear of Wangsheng, which basically allows her to deal 6 consecutive spear strikes. I'm pretty sure this is probably the highest consecutive strikes in the entire game. I don't know if there's 7 or above 6, but if you do know if there is any character at all in the game that basically performs over 6 consecutive strikes, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm pretty sure Hu Tao has the highest consecutive strike normal in the entire game. So yeah. Her charge attack, which basically allows her to lunge forward, dealing big damage. And her punching attack, which basically lets her spin around in the air, dealing AoE damage upon impact. So yeah, that is basically her normal attacks. Now it's time to go over her skill and bursts. So here we go. So her elemental skill, Guide to Afterlife, which basically increases Hu Tao's attack based off her max HP. And you also gain an attack bonus as well if you are under 50% HP, which is pretty cool. You also get Pyro Infusion on your normal attacks, which is pretty nice as well, on her elemental skill, which is pretty cool because this basically makes her a PYRO DPS. She also gets Blood Blossoms as well when you hit enemies with your charge attack, which is pretty nice. It means that you can basically deal damage every 4 seconds right here. On the Blood Blossom effect, you deal pyro damage every 4 seconds, which is pretty cool. And when you use your elemental skill, Hu Tao's resistance to interruption is greatly increased, meaning that she basically cannot be interrupted by anything when she attacks, which is pretty nice. It means that she doesn't get hit off of her burst or doesn't get hit off of her elemental skill or normal attacks. It just means that she can keep on going and going and going, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Her elemental burst, Spirit Soother. So, this elemental burst deals AoE pyro damage and can hit up to 5 enemies at once. Also, you can deal damage based off your max HP and also regenerate HP based off your max HP as well. And if Hu Tao is under 50% max HP, you basically gain a HP regen bonus as well as a damage bonus when you use your elemental burst if you're under 50% HP. That is basically Spirit Soother, a pretty strong elemental burst through and through. It's even great on single targets. The AoE is just a cherry on top, as you can see here, since it only hits 5 opponents. It doesn't hit everyone, but at least it hits 5 opponents, which is pretty nice. And now it's time to go over her passive talents. So here we go. The first one is Flutterby. So when Paramita Papilio, which is basically her state when she uses her elemental skill on Guide to Afterlife, ends, all her allies in the party, excluding Hu Tao, will have their crit rate increased by 12% for 8 seconds. Pretty nice, honestly. This means that she can basically become off-field support and support other characters. So yeah, while Hu Tao's elemental skill is cooling down and you switch to another character, you can basically have Yelan or Xingqiu deal big damage thanks to the crit rate increase, which means that they'll do more crit damage, which is pretty nice. It means that basically Hu Tao becomes a kind of support, even though she's a main DPS. But yeah, she has a support skill, which is pretty cool. It means that all her supports benefit from this. It means that Hu Tao is basically not completely useless when she is off field, basically having her elemental skill cooldown active. Yeah, Flutterby is a really good passive talent. And our second passive talent, which is Sajuin Rogue. When Hu Tao's HP is equal to or less than 50%, her pyro damage bonus is increased by 33%. This is extremely good on Hu Tao, probably one of the best talents in the entire game. Pretty simple, but effective. Yeah. With combined artifacts, and as well as the pyro damage bonus cup, and this skill, you basically get a 90% pyro damage bonus. That is high. Yeah. Hu Tao is a pyro damage DPS through and through because of this passive talent. And since she will always be under 50% HP, this will proc infinitely. Pretty nice. Pretty cool. Probably one of the better passive talents in the entire game. And here we have her overworld passive talent, which is the more the merrier. When Hu Tao cooks a dish perfectly, she has an 18% chance to receive an additional suspicious dish of the same type. So, it's not really good if you are a food collector who wants to get every single food in the game, because all you have to do to get a suspicious dish is to cook it incorrectly. Yeah, so basically don't press it when the light hits the arrow. That's basically how you get a suspicious dish. But if you want to make at least one perfect dish and have a chance to get a suspicious dish, then this passive talent is for you. It also works on lore as well, since Hu Tao is basically a spirit guide or a ghost girl. So yeah, this is basically just for lore purposes. But yeah, pretty cool passive talent, honestly. Now it is time to go over her constellations. So, let's just get that started. C1, Crimson Bouquet. While in the Paramita Papilio state, activated by Guide to Afterlife, Hu Tao's charge attacks do not consume stamina. This is an extremely good constellation. This is basically what makes Hu Tao the best pyro DPS in the game. Because since in this state, in Guide to Afterlife, when you do a charge attack, it doesn't consume stamina, you could use your stamina bar for other things, like attack canceling or running away from a attack. Yeah, your stamina bar gets opened up so much to the point where Hu Tao basically becomes the best pyro DPS in the entire game. Yeah, so you can spam charge attacks, you can cancel the charge attack animation with a dash, and then repeat, rinse and repeat until the enemy dies. Yeah, that is basically Hu Tao gameplay right there with C1. At C0, you have to play around the stamina bar, so you have to do charge attacks only without any dashes, or charge attack, dash, and then normal attacks. But with Crimson Bouquet on C1, you basically get rid of that and you basically play her in a completely different light. This constellation, honestly, is the only constellation you need on Hu Tao. The best constellation, period, on Hu Tao. And submits her as the best pyro DPS in the game. Yeah, one constellation makes her the best pyro DPS in the game. So yeah. C2, Ominous Rainfall. Increases Blood Blossom damage by an amount equal to 10% of Hu Tao's max HP at the time the effect is applied. Additionally, Spirit Soother will also apply the Blood Blossom effect. This basically means that your Blood Blossoms will be dealing more damage since it now scales off of 10% of Hu Tao's max HP. And also, your Spirit Soother will also apply the Blood Blossom effect, so it's not just your elemental elemental skill charge attacks. So yeah, instead of your elemental skill charge attacks applying Blood Blossoms, your Spirit Soother, aka your Elemental Burst, will also apply it too, which means that you're not limited to the elemental skill, which is pretty nice. It means that you can basically deal a lot of damage, you can deal more damage, and you don't have to focus on one person to apply the Blood Blossom or spread it out a bit. The burst basically automatically does that for you, which is pretty nice. C3, Lingering Carmen, which basically increases the level of Guide to Afterlife by 3 levels, which is pretty nice. Guide to Afterlife, again, is her bread and butter, so getting increased levels on that is pretty nice. Her C4, which is Garden of Eternal Rest. Upon defeating an enemy affected by a Blood Blossom that Hu Tao applied herself, all nearby allies in the party, excluding Hu Tao herself, will have their crit rate increased by 12% for 5 seconds. So not only are you getting a crit rate increase by Flutterby, but you also get an crit rate increase on her C4, which is pretty nice. So, when you defeat a Blood Blossomed opponent, you get a 12% crit rate increase for 15 seconds, which means that she works well, again, as a off-field DPS, or you can basically apply Blood Blossoms on her burst now, thanks to her C2, and it affects a lot of enemies. Yeah, so this is pretty easy to proc, especially since you have C2, since she's going to be using her elemental skill and burst a lot. And this basically benefits her team really well. Again, basically making the sub DPSs hit even harder than before, which is pretty nice. C5, Floral Incense, which increases the level of Spirit Soother by 3. Again, more levels on your elemental burst, which means more damage and more healing, which is pretty nice. And lastly, C6, which is Butterfly's Embrace. And it triggers when Hu Tao's HP drops below 25%, or when she suffers a lethal strike. A lethal strike, by the way, means that any hit that deals damage to Hu Tao will instantly kill her. Yeah, so basically, if she's at 2 HP and an enemy hits her, that's a lethal strike. So yeah, keep that in mind. So, when she's below 25% HP or she is about to suffer a lethal strike, Hu Tao will not fall as a result of the damage sustained. It just means that she can't die. Additionally, for the next 10 seconds, all her elemental and physical resistance are increased by 200%. This means that she can't die, by the way, even if you try. Her crit rate is increased by 100%. This means that she basically gets guaranteed critical damage, which is pretty nice. And her interruption resistance is greatly increased, meaning that she can't get interrupted from her attacks. Yeah. And it automatically triggers once Hu Tao's HP is at 1, which is pretty cool too. So yeah. The only downside to this is that the cooldown sucks. It's at 60 seconds and you get 10 seconds worth of benefits. But then again, this is a C6, so it's understandable. And she gains a ton of benefits too. You get resistances to every possible damage in the game. Her crit rate gets increased by 100, meaning that your crit damage will be dealing a ton of damage. And her interruption resistance means that she cannot be interrupted by anything at all, which means that you can do whatever you want. So yeah, C6 Hu Tao is honestly pretty good. Yeah, that's all I have to say. And that is Hu Tao. What are my final thoughts on her? I said it a lot and I'll say it again. Hu Tao is the best PYRO DPS in the entire game at C1. At C0, she's good. And by that, I mean, she has competition at C0. So yeah, there's Lenny, there's Yoimiya, any other PYRO DPS out there at C0, Hu Tao could basically compete with. So yeah, C0 Hu Tao is honestly pretty good pickup. But if you want the best PYRO DPS in the entire game, get her at C1. At C1, there's no contest. Hu Tao is the best. No questions asked. Yeah. And if you do decide to pick up Hu Tao, she is still available right now at the time I'm recording this video, and she should still be available once this video is uploaded. So yeah, it's up to you to decide whether you want to pull Hu Tao or not based on this video, but I did show you the results. And again, and I'll say it again, C1 Hu Tao, best PYRO DPS in the entire game. C0, she's still good. So yeah, that is your main takeaway on this video. And that is basically it for the Hu Tao showcase. Again, if you guys like the video and if you like my showcase style and if you like my showcase videos in general, be sure to leave a like down below. Leaving a like means that I could do more showcase videos in the future. It means that there's a high demand for it, which is pretty nice because I really do want to make more showcase videos, but they always get low views. So leaving a like down below will greatly appreciate me making more videos. Also, be sure to subscribe if you do enjoy all my content on this channel. It basically motivates me to make more videos. Again, any amount of support is greatly appreciated, and thank you guys if you do. And if you do subscribe, make sure to turn on the notification bell to not miss out on a single upload that I do. I upload once a week, but my upload schedule is inconsistent, so having a notification bell on basically helps you get the latest uploads on my channel. And also, comment down below, what do you think of Hu Tao? You think she's great? You think she's not that great? You think C1 Hu Tao is the most broken PYRO DPS in the entire game? You think she's not? Do you really want to C1 Hu Tao, or do you want to keep her at C0, despite what you saw in the showcase video? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of Hu Tao? I really do want to see what you guys discuss in the comments down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching this showcase video. And I'll see you guys in the next Genshin video.